If you've ever wondered why people say Miami tests friendships and Vegas tests relationship, let me tell you about my New Year's Eve last night. Four of us get ready to go out. I already DM'd the promoter for Vendom, so that way he said we can get in, there'll be alcohol, no, wait at the door, everything's all good. We pull up, one of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door. We all thought we were gonna have an expense-free night, so no one wanted to pay for the $300 entry fee. We spent over 2 hours trying to figure out if we're gonna split it, can she put on her credit card, whether we're just gonna leave, go to another club, like literally just doing everything. And we spent over 2 hours plotting and planning and strategizing. Finally, we're 10 minutes before New Year's Eve, and I personally did not want to spend my New Year's Eve sitting on the curb. So I asked my friend, would you be willing for us to pay for your Uber to go back home so you can watch the ball drop, watch fireworks, and be safe? So that way we can at least go into the club before midnight. She turned to me and says, I'll get in that Uber, but once I do, we are not friends anymore.
Listen, you guys say men don't really have friendships. That's an easy thing. Men were just okay. We're all not gonna go. That's it. It's a easy question. We're just not gonna go. You put your friend. You were saying that. Well, just go back home because we still want to do our thing. Listen, that's crazy to me. That's just straight up crazy to me. Listen, before we do a deeper dive into this, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day. So if you just haven't seen it, you haven't missed it, then it's probably the notification bell. So go ahead and take a look at that. So this made its way around, the old interwebs. Uh, and right after I saw this video, I saw another video where someone was lamenting and telling about how men don't really have real relationships, how their friendships, that's why they're lacking them. I think there is a group of men that don't really have that connection, that camaraderie. And a lot of that is because our ability to relate, the times when we can relate with one another, those have passed. When you get older, it's harder for you to make friends, especially when you couldn't take advantage of that when you were in college. You couldn't take advantage of that when you were in high school. You were introverted. We have a society that creates more introversion, especially in men. We don't go outside and interact with one another anymore. You can't go on your phone and call up a group of guys and say, hey, I'm doing this. In fact, we've offloaded a lot of that to women when we're in relationships. They usually carry that social load of the connections. So there's a very real dearth in that area. But when you actually look at men with friendships and how we actually interact, and it's difficult at times because we don't televise it, we don't record it, we don't put it out there. You don't see, I can call my best friend now, and if time permitting, we'll talk for 3, 4 hours, and it'll be about any and everything, about nothing. This is normal for us. Then there's times when we have to hold each other accountable, and we do this, and then there may be months in between before we have another real conversation. There's no love lost. There's simply understanding you have your life you're living, and I have my life I'm living. And outside of exchanging memes or texts, now and then, lives get messy, lives get difficult, but we can always come back together like no time has passed. He knows my family, I know his family. And I think that's regular for a lot of guys. We don't get so mad at each other when the time in between has been long. And I think that gets confusing to women, as if you don't have this constant check in, this constant reaffirmation, then men don't really have real relationships. That's just, we have different relationships. So for men, if we were trying to decide if we can get into this spot and one of us couldn't, then that was it for us. It's not, okay, we're going to debate this for 2 hours before we come to a decision. No, we're all going to look at each other and say, is it more important to leave a man behind so we can go into here? I think the inclusion of it going out and having an expense free time, and men don't really have this repertoire. We don't have this expectation. Going outside is expensive for men. It costs. This is why when we are in relationship, we tend to spend more. I think I saw a stat where it said men spend like anywhere from the 12 to $15,000 on average a year, where women spend something like 1,700 while you guys are together. What he spends on her versus what she spends on him. That's a very real statistic, a very real number. So when women are going out by themselves, yeah, you can often leave your wallet. Especially if you're pretty enough, you can often leave your wallet. So going out for New Year's in Miami with the already assumption we're not going to spend any money. One of your friends says, "Nah, we can't. You can't get in there because well, this is Miami, and it's cruel, and it's the best looking women across the United States come here to be evaluated and say this is what it is." So clubs often are discriminatory in terms of size. Hey, you can't come in here because this, or you can, you just got to pay. So since you all didn't have that expectation of wanting to pay, you left someone behind. So when you start the thing with the premise of Miami test relationships or girls trips tend to test relationships because the internet is inundated with stories of women going out together, planning something, and it not going the way they thought, or someone getting sort of left behind or left out, or some don't even make it out of the group text because the way women's friendships, they're often tested. I'm not saying they're not real. Again, we start this by understanding we have different relationships because we're different sort of creatures in this regard. If you don't have that confident reinformation, then things sort of get weird. Or people said they were going to do this and didn't do this, or we put all the charges on my credit card and you didn't pay me back, and then I'm going to blow up the entire thing. There's again, the internet is inundated with stories like that. The internet is also inundated with characterizations that say men aren't real when with their friendships. We just have different ways of going about it. The end result for us is very real friendships. Yeah, but there may be fewer. That is a fact. Men don't have 30, 40 different friends. They don't have enough friends to call together and say, "Hey, we're going to go and buy out this bar." No, but it's one of those in my life has always been about quality over quantity. My birthday comes around, I'm not inundated with calls and texts and no, but the few that do mean the world to me. Most men go about it that way rather than thinking quantity is a thing, quantity is an issue. It's not Miami's testing your friendship. It's just the first real world experience. You don't have to go to Miami to do it. Miami just acts as this pressure tester. You can do it. You can see it when you go out for a girls' night or it's time to pay the bill. And the quintessential conversation about, "Oh, I only had wings. I had wings in the water. I'm not splitting this. I'm not paying you for this." And the friendships that were supposed to be friendships from years, friendships from college, they break down over that. The comment section in that was like, you guys, break up friendship over fajitas, over regular things where it's it's not important, or you didn't make it into my birthday thing. So now we have tension, we have beef. Again, men, we don't fall out over stuff like that. When you have few of those close knit relationships, you don't tend to fall out over things that are minor. We let a lot of things slide and we talk it up, say it's probably not that important. Most guys are like that, or we'll have a conversation about it, and sometimes some of us even need to come to blows, and then after that, we're like, man, it's dead. Moving on. It doesn't even take friends for that. I had a coworker recently. We had a difference of opinion. He was just like, "Yo, let's not talk about that anymore. We set out pieces. That's done." I mean, I agree. We kept it moving harmoniously, and not like I secretly harbor this thing. No, we said that's not important. This is what we're trying to get done. So again, it's not that men don't have real relationships. We just do things a little differently. And one of those we're very proud about. Never leave a man behind. No matter his size, you never leave a man behind. I think again, for us looking in, women can chime in. If this is normal behavior, let us know. But for us, this never would happen. To cut right into you guys celebrating in the club, that's dastardly. But shout out to her friend saying, "Yo, I'll get an Uber. We're done after this." You just stand on business. I like that. If you agree, let me know down in the comments below. Of course, you see videos on your screen right now. Take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And if you listen to sound my voice, you haven't subscribed, come on, just join the train. We're just trying to pay the rent. I'll see you in the next one.